once-in-a-lifetime occasion, or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We could get some afternoon showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, a couple of which could be on the strong or severe end of the spectrum. We'd be talking about heavy rain, gusty winds, and a little bit of hail thrown into the mix as well. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the low and mid 80s, only dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Wednesday, partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
Tom, can you get me a little Type-C?
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
To a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham, and, you know, as the NBA and NHL playoffs continue, we've got plenty to get into today, plenty to discuss today. And, you know, yesterday we talked about that amazing Kentucky Derby that 20 million people watched. More people watched the Kentucky Derby than watched the national championship game last year. I mean, more people watch the Kentucky Derby than watch the men or the women's or the Caitlin Clark national championship in the basketball. More people watch that game on NBC. The last thing that they had that had that kind of an audience was the NFL playoffs. All right, that's how far back you got to go. That's how big a deal it was in terms of nationally, in terms of the people that watch that thing. Everybody was excited about it. All right, then we get the 3-horse photo finish, an incredible boost and interest that horse racing got off of that. And now we learn that Mystic Dan, the Derby winner, or is that Mystic Natty Danny, the Derby winner, may not even run into Preakness because of the 2-week turnaround. And we know for sure that Sierra Leone and Forever Young won't be running in the race. So the potential of a highly anticipated rematch with those 3 horses who finished door handle to door handle, we won't even get it. It won't even happen. When did the Triple Crown become so meaningless? And if this is going to be the new norm, if this ends up being the new normal, what are we doing? I mean, the whole point of the Triple Crown was 3 races over 5 weeks. Would they run for sure if it was 3 races over 6 weeks? If they got 3 weeks in between each race, would they run for sure then? Because something has to be done. You can't take something like that gets that kind of attention and just blow it off. Just blow it off. Nothing. No biggie. Another thing that's on the table is the possibility of TNT losing the NBA to NBC, which, by the way, you know, historically, back in the day, it was the NBA and NBC. John Tesh's great NBA, theme music was developed for the NBA and NBC, and NBC has allegedly bid twice as much as TNT for the game package alongside ESPN and ABC, who is going to retain their deal. ESPN and ABC are keeping their deal. And Amazon got a deal. But honestly, here's the thing. We really don't care where the games are broadcast, do we? I mean, it's just a game. It's just a different score bug. Do you just tell me what channel the game is on? But we don't care where the game is played or where it's shown, on what network it's shown. We don't care. You know what we care about? We care about inside the NBA. That's what we care about. Which, to be honest, has become bigger than the game. It's entertaining, it's informative, and it's a standalone deal. And I'll give you an example. Let me put it this way. When I watch a hockey or NBA playoff game, for the most part, it's often, or a big chunk of it is often on the DVR. I'll watch the beginning of the game. I got to tape one and watch the other, particularly if it's my team's playing, like last night with the Bruins and the Knicks. I watch the first 30 minutes of the Knicks game, then I switch to the hockey game, record the Knicks game, watch the first period of the hockey game. Wife says it's time to hit the rack. Go to bed. Watch SWAT with her. And something NCIS. Watch SWAT and NCIS. She falls asleep at 9:30. Now I watched the second half of the Knicks game on the DVR, and after that, I watched the second and third period of the Bruins game, and at 11:30, I'm conked out. That's how I watch my games every night. It's just the way it is. So I speed through on the DVR. I speed through the intermission report on the hockey. I speed through the halftime generally on the basketball, unless it's a TNT game. If it's a TNT game, I'll speed through the commercials at the end of the first half, and then I stop the DVR and watch. I watch the halftime show because of Chuck and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie. I watch it on the DVR. I don't watch if it's a ESPN playoff game, blitz through the halftime. If it's a hockey game, blitz through the intermission reports. Let's go. Drop the puck. I'm ready to go. So that gives you an idea. And I'm not the only one that does that. I can guarantee it. So, in the event that TNT loses the NBA, and there's all this talk about what would happen to inside the NBA if TNT were to lose the NBA, the greatest studio show in the history of studio shows, bar none, is, regardless of sport, by the way, is Game Day a better show than the studio show inside the NBA? I dare say maybe. Why couldn't Inside the NBA be like that? Why couldn't Inside the NBA just be a show that stands alone before the basketball games, regardless of what network they're on? And I'll go a step further. Our friend Dimitri Ravenos of Barrett Sports Media has a brilliant idea. Brilliant! Why doesn't the NBA buy the rights to the show and make it the pregame show for wherever the game is being broadcast in the halftime and the postgame? One show for all the networks. It would be brilliant. It would be genius. They got their own studio. Oh, the game's on ESPN, so what? Now here we go to ESPN for the game. Oh, what? The game's on NBC, so what? Game's on NBA Network, so what? Amazon, so what? You don't think ESPN would love to have that show as their pregame show? I don't think you can afford to lose those guys. It's a genius idea. Take your thoughts on that. And tomorrow we'll be down at Toyota Field doing the show during the Education Day game between the Trash Pandas and the Mississippi Braves. By the way, do we have a backup monkey lined up yet so that Grizz can come out there with me? I need Grizz out there with me. So we need to get one of our guys got to be in there to run the show. We'll get Bailey in here to run the show for us from the inside. He had to leave the staff meeting this morning early, so we didn't get a chance to tell him that he was doing that. Since he left early, we're telling him right now that he's doing that. Anyway, it's going to be the last time that the AA Braves are in before they move to Columbus next year. And get this, likely changing their name. They will not be the Columbus Braves. They're going to be something else, which makes zero sense to me. Now, I get it here. I get it here with the Trash Pandas because there is no relationship to the big club. All right? It's not like, oh, how can there not be the Angels with all those Angel fans that we got here? It's not. There's no zero relationship to the big club. But in Georgia? In Georgia. I mean, honestly, Rome, Columbus, Gwinnett, they should all be the Braves, in my opinion. Unless they think for some reason that takes away from the big club, which I'm sure it doesn't. Everybody wants Braves gear. You'd have little alteration for it for the Columbus Braves or the Rome Braves or the Gwinnett Braves. But they should all be Braves. It's Braves country. Why would you not want every team in the state of Georgia, every minor league team, to be Braves? What are they now, the Rome Gladiators or something? What are they called? The Rome Strombolis? Emperors? And their logo's a penguin? What the heck is that? Does anybody have a relationship with the Rome Emperors? Or the Gwinnett Stripers? Oh, the Stripers logo is pretty cool. But does anybody have I'm a big Striper fan. I do need to check out their hat. I got to see if I want one of the Rome Stripers hat. I'm going to have to look at that. And they don't even, they got Stripers there at Lake Lanier, where Gwinnett is, closer to Lake Lanier. But honestly, if they were going to name them after a fish in that lake, it should be the Rome Spotted Bass or the Gwinnett Spotted Bass. That's what they got, is spotted bass more than stripers. I think Allatoona might have some stripers, maybe, but they got spotted bass in there. Is that how you say it, Allatoona? Lake Allatoona, which has come back. It's alive now. It used to be the Dead Sea, but now it's coming back alive. Anyway, coming up in a few minutes, Josh Caray will join us for some hardball talk. Then at the top of the one, we can't have Josh on tomorrow. We haven't been able to have Josh on the last couple of weeks because they play every Wednesday afternoon now, whether they're in, whether they're in Madison or whether they're in Birmingham or wherever they are. They've been playing so finally we got to get some Josh in here for some hardball talk. And at the top of the one, David Moulton, who show Miller and Moulton in the morning, starts your day out at 5 on Talk Radio WZZN. He'll join us with thoughts on all things sports. Phone lines are open at 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We're on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can get a link there to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV. Like and subscribe on YouTube to get notifications. Just go to 977ESPN.com for links to all of that. And while you're at it, get our app. Just search 97.7 ESPN The Zone from your app store, and you can get the app. You'll find links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well, and our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. And then snag your Talk Radio WZZN app as well for more great options. Our calendar is at 977ESPN.com and at TalkRadioWZZN.com. And, of course, your Trash Pandas can be found on Talk Radio WZZN. That's at 97.7-2 on the radio dial. And if you don't have a digital radio, you can always just get the app for Talk Radio WZZN as well. It's not Zone 2. It's 97.7-2. That's your over-the-air signal for the Trash Pandas. Occasionally, Trash Panda games are on the Zone. We've already had 3 or 4 we'll have another half dozen or so that end up on the Zone. So Rudy Gobert missed the game in Denver last night because he was on paternity leave. Last week, Alex Verdugo missed 3 games for the Yankees in Baltimore because he was on paternity leave. Top 2 teams in the American League going at it. He was on paternity leave. All right. Okay. Yesterday at 3 a.m., Bruins defenseman Brandon Carlo's wife gave birth to her son, Crew. By the way, what a great name. Crew Carlo. I mean, are you kidding me? His first son, their second child, Crew Carlo. "12 hours later, he got on a plane. He arrived in Miami an hour and a half before the game last night. Scored a goal. Just saying. Hockey guy. It's why I love hockey guy. It's hockey guy. So who's got good stories about when their kids were born? I'd love to hear your story about when your kid was born, what you might have been doing. Did you ever miss the birth of a child? Actually missed. I had 9. I didn't have 9. My wife had 9. I can't remember what I was doing during every single one. I know I was there for every single one. And I know that none of them were born in the off season. None of them were born in June, July, or August. They weren't born in June, July, or August because what are the 9 months before June, July, and August? September, October, November, football season. We aren't making babies during football season. Old boy was off coaching during football season. So all of our kids were conceived basically in the spring for the most part, or the summer, and they were born, several of them born during football season or in the winter or in the spring. None in the summer. None born in the summer. Love to hear your story. All right, over there playing the Play Doesn't Matter and the Stacks of Wax and man on the phones and making sure it's nice and cool in here in the building. Not one of my sons. Although there is a son of mine bumping around this station somewhere. Not one of my sons is DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
You could be one of my sons. You're young enough to be one.
I wouldn't rule it out.
No, I'm not saying you actually could be one of my sons because I would have been there. I would have known if you were actually born. Brandon,
you wouldn't have told me you loved me though.
Brandon says that Brandon Carlo should have named his son Montgomery, and then his nickname would be Monty, and he would be Monty Carlo.
Monty Carlo, that's
Monty
pretty good.
Carlo,
that's pretty good.
That's not bad. That's a good job by him. I like it being Crew though. Crew is a cool name. Crew Carlo.
Is that a type of hockey equipment? Crew?
What, Crew? No.
Okay, I know it's Bauer and I couldn't.
CCM, Warrior, but not Crew.
Yeah, CCM.
Yeah, not Crew. Man, I got to tell you, watch it last night. I know it's me because they're my teams and my name is on the show, but for me, and now here we go again with the Bruins and the Knicks have to be playing on the same night, which I think – is as bad a thing as that is? I think it's actually kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if there were one of them playing every single night, that could harm the marriage.
A little bit.
It hurt the marriage a little bit.
You'd be focusing on that.
So, like tonight, I don't have to worry about it. tonight. I'm at a Yankee game, but you know what I mean. I'll be Yankees and Astros.
Yeah.
And so, but that's early. 6 o'clock. I'll watch some of that, and then I'll just get. But it's not the stress of Knicks and Pacers, which was what a wonderful basketball game last night. I mean, I don't know how much of it you watched, but it was just so good.
So I watched a good bit of it. Jalen Brunson, what was it, 47? The weird technical at the end, that kind of struck me a little bit.
On the moving pick when
the moving pick.
That was, so the moving pick
was a little much.
That is the right call.
Yeah.
Is that Arthur Seaton or gosh, I just saw Arthur Seaton on a commercial for University Kia.
Yeah.
He looks just like who's the comedian? The guy that does the Alabama stuff, the way Alabama fans watch the game.
Funny Mane?
Funny Mane.
Yeah.
Arthur Seaton looks just like Funny Mane. Bald with the beard and has the same look on his face.
He always does like a funny little. I love his commercials. Yeah. I need him to send them to us again and start doing it for our streams because those are great. I mean, he's always got a different. Spot. Yeah, he's always got a great TV spot.
Yeah, we need to put the TV spot on WZZ on TV.
Yeah.
All right, so the moving pick.
Yeah.
Ticky tack.
Yeah. It's just like
the right call.
Yeah.
Ticky tack.
But it's like the UConn UConn situation where Iowa moved on, and it was kind of like, is that a moving pick? Is it not a moving pick in the women's college basketball? And always that's a flaky.
It's the right call.
Yeah.
You don't make that call there.
Yeah, right.
It's the right call. They shouldn't have made that call there. However, the kick ball call, that's the one that's really bad.
Yeah.
The kick ball call is a turnover. That's a tie game.
Yes.
They're putting the ball in. The Knicks are putting the ball in. For those of you who didn't watch it, Knicks are putting the ball in, tie game. Okay? The inbound guy fires it in. The player for the Indianapolis Pacers, he reaches out and deflects it with his hand. He lifts his leg up, too, but he deflects it with his hand.
Right.
It goes right to one of his players, okay? And they would have had a 3-on-1 break. And it's a lead, and there's like 30 or 40 seconds left.
Yeah.
And this is now a lead for Indiana. What they call is kick ball. And it's not reviewable. And it was clearly he tipped it with his hand. It was a steal. It was a takeaway steal. Knicks get the ball back. They hit the big three. Game over. Okay? So
Which was that? Was that Brunson's only? That was his only made three.
No, that wasn't his only.
I thought he was 1 for 4.
He may have been, but he didn't. I don't. Maybe he didn't make it three. Maybe he made
because I know he made his only three. And it was in the fourth.
It was in the fourth, but it was a little earlier than that.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, the thing is, it's not reviewable.
Right.
So 2 things. One, why is it not reviewable?
That doesn't make any sense at all.
I mean, they review everything.
Yeah.
Why is it almost everything? Why is it not reviewable? 2, if it were reviewable, we knew on the first replay people say, well, we can't have all these freaking stoppages for everything. I get that. However, we knew, the viewer knew, in probably 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
The first replay that came out, he didn't kick that ball. All they would have to do is, again, have a referee who's sitting, at least in the playoff, a referee who's sitting at the table watching the game on the TV.
Right.
Watches the replay immediately, and immediately signals to the head referee out there, hey, that was he didn't kick that ball. That's Indiana's ball, side out. That's how that should have been.
Yeah.
And I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
But Indiana got screwed on that deal. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that the Knicks don't win the game. I don't think but it changed the flow of the game.
Oh, definitely. And
Knicks are now down. I mean, that's a 3-on-1 break.
Right. And I mean, and that's the thing about it. Just take away from what Jalen Brunson was able to do, score all those points, but also, I mean, the Pacers got in foul trouble early in that game too. I don't know what'll happen if I think it was Naismith and I can't remember the other player. They already had 3 fouls before the end of the first half.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that would have been a probably more competitive game, probably went into overtime if those guys hadn't been in foul trouble.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was a great game though. I mean, it was an exciting game.
Game.
It wasn't exciting as that second game because I mean the whole heat pad situation and the whole.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, I don't mean to go forward, but I'm just saying that those games that wasn't thrilling to me because the top 2 players didn't play well.
And for Denver to be in trouble now, I mean, it gives more intrigue to that almost because Denver's in trouble. All right, we got to get a break. When we come back, Josh Caray. We'll talk some country hardball with him next. Thom Abraham Show. Off and running. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, InvisiCook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
All right, where are we going for breakfast?
I kind of want a breakfast quesadilla.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing quesadillas for breakfast these days.
Well, Taco Bell is.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they have this Bell breakfast box now that comes with this breakfast quesadilla that's super cheesy and a hash brown.
Okay, I wish I knew about this earlier.
And it has Cinnabon Delights and a coffee in it.
Why did I not know about this earlier?
Try the new $5 Bell breakfast box, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations during breakfast hours only, 7 to 11 a.m. for a limited time. Contact local store for prices and participation with vary. Tax extra. Drinks exclude freezes.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We could get some afternoon showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, a couple of which could be on the strong or severe end of the spectrum. We'd be talking about heavy rain, gusty winds, and a little bit of hail thrown into the mix as well. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the low and mid 80s, only dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Wednesday, partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by the fine folks at Valley Equipment Rental. You know, Valley Equipment is a family-owned business serving the entire Tennessee Valley area. They base their business on their customers, pride themselves in customer service, and treating people the way that they would want to be treated. Valley Equipment services the needs of area contractors and landscapers and homeowners and the do-it-yourselfers. That's me and you. The owner, Ross Roberts, he grew up in the equipment rental industry. They have two tremendous locations, North and South Parkway. Locally owned, local folks, keep the money local, and are the best. So that's why you want to use Valley Equipment Rental. All right, joining us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management hotline for a little Caray's Corner is Josh Caray. He's on a Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Josh, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. Good to be back on with you. Looking forward to another fun week at Toyota Field with the Braves. Should be a lot of fun.
You know, it seems like you play every Wednesday now, every Wednesday afternoon. We'll be out there tomorrow again. But, I mean, I was like, if I don't get this dude on a Tuesday or something, we're never going to talk to Josh Caray again because they play day games every Wednesday, whether they're in Madison or in Birmingham or wherever. Let me ask you, from a broadcaster standpoint, I think I know how the players feel about it. It doesn't suck, right? I mean, you get a game, you do a day game, the game's over at 2 o'clock, and you got a rare kind of rest of the day off. That's not too bad, is it? Or do you not like them?
No, you know what? It's a lot like the players in that when you first get up and get down to the ballpark, you're a little annoyed because that's the time you're still sleeping, still in bed, doing whatever you want to. But you're right. Once it's over at about 2 o'clock, you basically get the next 24 hours off.
Yeah.
So it turns into another off day.
Yeah.
And for the players, you know what? It's not fun getting there at 8 o'clock in the morning. But the good news is you don't have to do batting practice or lift weights or anything like. You just basically show and go. And so it's a quasi off day for them as well. And you hope for a win as well and make the next 24 hours reasonable.
So get started tonight with the Mississippi Braves. Do you notice at all? It's been a few years now with the Trash Pandas, but have the Braves been in here? I mean, it was last year or the year before. They never even played them. Were they in here last year, the Mississippi Braves?
Yeah, the only year they weren't in was 2021, and that was just because of the pandemic. We had a shorter season,
right?
And for whatever reason, the Braves were just cut out of our schedule. But they've been in the last two seasons.
So do you notice at all, you know, of course, everybody's a Trash Panda fan. We get that. But this is also Braves country. Do you notice a bump at all in the crowd on the week that the Mississippi Braves are in the building? Do you see that at all?
A little bit. I see a lot of Braves gear being worn during that week. And so there are a lot of people who I think wanting to see what the Braves have to offer on the farm. It certainly increases the interest a little bit. But for the most part, Tom, it's just like any other week in that, you know, your Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they're going to be a little slow. And then as you get to Friday and Saturday, obviously things will pick back up. But definitely there's more of an interest when Mississippi comes to town just because those are the guys you may be seeing in Atlanta one day.
Yeah, my first ever Huntsville Stars game when I got to the market, I'm sitting there and I'm at the game and taking it in, and I see a kid in center field, and I'm like, oh, that looks a little different than the rest of these guys. And then I see him at bat, and I'm like, Yeah, that's one. That's one that's going to make it. It was Jeff Francoeur, and of course he went on to have that great start to his career as well. And that's the great thing, So many, and I think back then, and that was 20 years ago. So I think back then, I think less guys went from Double-A right to the majors back then than they do now. Because I know when I was growing up as a kid, and the time that I lived in Rochester, New York, the Rochester Red Wings were the AAA affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles, and they had been for 40 years at that time. And it just seemed like that it was a constant back and forth between Rochester, Baltimore, Rochester. I saw Bobby Grich, Don Baylor, all those guys played in Rochester and went to Baltimore. But now it seems like, as we've been talking about over the past couple of years, the Double-A is where really all the prospects are. And so you're right. When you go to this game, if you're a Braves fan and you go to this game, any of these games this week, you're looking at some future guys that are going to be playing for the Atlanta Braves, and then probably in a not too distant future.
Yeah, and it's what's changed more than anything, Tom. It's a couple things. Number one is that the money. When you've got these highly touted prospects who are already signed for millions upon millions of dollars, you want to get them to the show as soon as possible to show what they're worth. And hopefully they get off to a great start. But, excuse me, even if you're a Jackson Holiday and you get off to a bad start, at least people get a little peek at you. Maybe they got to send you back. But as soon as you get them to the majors, you can at least show everyone that, hey, this guy who we're investing X amount of dollars in, he's already playing in the show and has the ability to play there, even though he needs some work. So that's number one. But number two, I think for at least the Angels specifically, you look at the Pacific Coast League, which is the AAA league that the Salt Lake Bees and the Angels AAA team plays at. That is a very hitters-friendly league. And so you ask yourself, well, if we got this kid at AA and we move him to AAA, either as a everyday player or a pitcher, what is he really going to gain? I mean, the numbers are going to be inflated, whether it's positive or negative. So that we're not really gaining anything by putting him there. And that's why you see that jump a lot of times. So it really does depend on the organization. One thing I've noticed is a lot of teams that have a AAA team in the International League, which is where the Tides and the Red Wings and all those teams are, they tend to make a stop there because it's more of an even playing field in that league.
Yeah, that's a good point. Josh Caray with us here talking some country hardball. All right, the other thing is with the Angels, I think you see a program like that, a team that's not playing at, it's not one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. They've been competitive, but they're not at the top of the list. You do see a lot more guys going up and down. So, and you'll see an opportunity for more Trash Panda players to be going right up there and playing, in the big leagues. I don't know if it's that way with the Braves. I mean, the Braves are the most loaded team, or one of the most loaded teams, maybe next to the Dodgers, in all of Major League Baseball. So who are some of the guys that in your scouting of this whole deal, who are some of the guys that we're seeing with this baby Braves team that are prospects that people want to keep an eye on if you're there to watch some of those guys?
You know what's funny, Tom? There's not really a whole lot to sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago, it was the 2022 season when they won the World Series. Actually, I guess it was 21 they won the series. That was a very average Braves team all the way until the trade deadline. And then they started giving guys away, and they started getting rental players in return, and they wound up winning the World Series that year. And that was great and everything, but you had to sell off your farm to do that. And then they make the trades that they have the last few years with Alex Anthopoulos at the helm. And with Matt Olson is a great example where a lot of prospects were given away in order to make the team competitive right then and there for the long haul. So long story short, there's really not a whole lot to get excited about this season with the Mississippi Braves, because throw this in there as well. They're moving out of that stadium in Columbus, Georgia next year. And so I think they're really trying to keep their prospects away from AA right now. And they may have a couple of pitching prospects. There's one guy named Luis de Avila who we may see this week. He's pretty good, but you have a lot of solid organizational farmhands who can certainly handle themselves at AA ball, but they're not really going to be guys who you expect to be in an Atlanta uniform for 5 to 7 years and being a part of hopefully several world titles. So the pickings are kind of slim right now. right now the Braves are actually one of the lesser farm systems in all of baseball, but that's because they're trying to rebuild it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Josh Caray with us here. Now, there is a familiar name over there, J.J. Niekro, who's now 26 years old. That's Joe Niekro's son, Phil Niekro's nephew. His brother is Lance Niekro. Do we know if this kid's throwing a knuckleball? I mean, that's all we got to know. He's got a 4.21 ERA. He has started 5 games this season, 1-3. I don't know if he's scheduled to pitch in this series or this week, but we got to know, does he throw any kind of a knuckleball, or does he just go straight to a spitter, and does he throw that?
No, he's got the knuckle stuff, but he also throws other things too. I mean, he's a fastball guy, and he's got a curve. His stuff is not overpowering, but it's good for Double-A. And again, he's one of those guys who, look, I'm sure the name helped him, but he's legit. He's a good professional baseball pitcher. Whether or not he develops into a major leaguer, we will soon find out. But he's just a solid all-around pitcher who has shown some ability. He's already pitched a couple of pretty good ball games for the Braves. Do I see him as a major leaguer down the road? Frankly, no. But I think he could certainly develop into a solid professional ball player who may crack a major league roster one day.
How about the Alvarez kid, Nacho Alvarez, a young kid playing shortstop? What do you see out of him?
Well, he's 21 years old, 6 feet, 210 pounds, 5th-round draft choice. Solid all-around ball player, very young. I mean, 21 is even young for Double-A. He's one of those guys who I'm going to be excited to take a look at. Again, he's not playing on such a great team, and what's harder for him especially is when you look at the Braves for the next several years, it's going to be really hard for him to break that lineup. In fact, if you're a position player in the Braves farm system, it's going to be pretty hard to get in. But he's one of those guys who, if he continues to climb the ladder and continues to do what is expected of him, maybe he's someone you use as trade bait down the road, or maybe you trade someone off the major league roster in order to bring him up. But is he a prospect? Yes. Is he someone who jumps out at you? Not quite yet, but I'll be interested to see what he has to offer this week.
Josh Caray with us here. All right, a number of reasons to go to the ballpark tonight outside of the Baby Braves being in town. It's Star Wars night down there, and the Trash Pandas will be wearing their Star Wars gear. I don't know what color. I haven't seen the backs of them, so I don't know how problematic this is for the broadcaster. I know a number of games that I've done for the Huntsville Havoc over the years, when they have these specialty jerseys, it can get a little hairy. Sometimes you can't see the numbers too good, but it's a little different maybe with baseball. But they've got that, and you got a really cool bobblehead tonight as well for the first, I think, 1,500 to come in the building.
Yeah, so we're going to have our Chewbacca jerseys that the team will wear. Obviously, the team was on the road for May the 4th. So tonight will be our Star Wars night. We're going to auction off the jerseys during the ball game. So there'll be a chance for fans to win those jerseys. And then it's going to be our Nolan Schanuel bobblehead giveaway.
All right.
We're thrilled about that. Nolan's, after a rough start, he's playing a lot better. We're very proud of what he's accomplished. And, for anyone who is a Major League Baseball fan who's into those types of things, we'll be able to give that away as well. So should be a fun night at the ballpark, and hopefully we can get people to come on down.
And, of course, tomorrow we'll be there broadcasting the show in our usual spot out there in right field, looking to get hit with a home run, hopefully off of the bat of a Trash Panda. There's no doubt. 11:05 first pitch game. Now, I know it's an education day, and that's what they call them. I remember the days of the businessman special, and a lot of times my listeners say, hey, when are you going to have a businessman special? Well, it's education day, but it's kind of a businessman special, too. I mean, come out to the park, have lunch, watch 4 innings, and go back to the office. I mean, you can be out there at 11 o'clock and be back in your office by before 1 o'clock and see most of the game. I mean, I don't know if they do anything special, lunches or anything like that for the businessman, but, a little businessman special wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, the businessman special has kind of gone the way of the dodo bird when it comes to minor league baseball.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the kids' days. At the end of the day, we just draw better at night than we do during the day.
Sure.
But this is a great opportunity. If you get a chance for an extended lunch, just come on by, check out a few innings. You'll have to deal with a lot of school kids, and that's all right. But it's a great way to spend your lunch hour. Just check out a few innings of Trash Panda baseball, and hopefully we can get you back down for a full game sometime later in the season. But those are always fun because, let's face it, not everyone likes to go at night. People want to be able to enjoy the sunshine and take in baseball old school style, and that's exactly what this provides. So we're happy to do it, and we'd love for people to come on down.
Yeah, it'll be a great time down at the old ballpark. And then sometime this week, later this week, the 1 millionth fan will show up at the ballpark. Now, is that Ricky Fernandez? Does Tricky Ricky have to count these people? Is that what he's been doing for the last 3 years? He counting the people coming through the gate, and then he has to count and figure out who the 1 millionth fan is that's going to get this cool stuff of being the 1 millionth fan?
What we've done is we've totaled up our attendance from the first several years, and we've pretty much pinpointed when we think the fan is going to come in. It's going to be sometime probably before the weekend that 1 millionth fan will enter the gate. We're going to have our VIP gates open for the suite holders, and then about an hour before first pitch, our Pepsi gates will open as well. And from there, we're going to make a pretty good estimation of who that 1 millionth fan will be, and they'll get a ton of surprises that come along with that, and a lot of recognition as well. So it's a luck of the draw. Just come on down. Hopefully, as you come in through the gate, we'll find that 1 millionth fan, and hopefully that person is listening right now and can be there and enjoy all the fun.
That's right. So you can get that opportunity to be the 1 millionth fan. Is the old ballpark fair still going on, or is that wrapped up now?
That is wrapped up. That ended Sunday evening. We actually got back from Birmingham, and they were already breaking down. So we enjoyed having them, but we're ready to move on with the season.
Man, that thing was massive. I could not believe it. When I showed up 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, and they hadn't opened it yet up, and I just looked and I said, oh, my gosh, I thought this was like a Ferris wheel and a merry-go-round, and that was it. And I looked around, and I was like, this has got to be one of the biggest fairs I've ever seen. I mean, that thing, that's tremendous.
Yeah, and what's cool about it is I like where we put it. In years past, we used the parking lot. This time we used the gravel lot. They really do a good job with it. I mean, it's an old-school carnival, and they've done a great job with it every year. I don't think we'll try to do it with the team in town again. I think that was probably a little too much.
That was tough.
But we've had them now for 4 years, and they've been tremendous to work with. They're called Kissel Entertainment. They've been tremendous to work with. And who knows? I guess we'll be doing it again in the future.
So when we go to the big leagues and we look at the National League East, it's just weird to see the Philadelphia Phillies 3 games ahead of the Braves. I mean, it adds a little intrigue to things. But the Braves went out to L.A. take on Shohei Ohtani, who was hot as a pistol, and that Dodger team. You know, the Dodgers for a minute there, they were looking a little bit ordinary, but they're starting to kind of round into who they are, and they are who we thought they were, and that's going to be a tough hurdle to climb, I think, in the National League.
Yeah, if you're Atlanta, you're 20-12 on May the 7th. You ought to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
And here you are 3 games back. That's just how good the Phillies have been. At the same time, the Dodgers are really good. And you go out there, you get swept. You don't feel good about that, but you understand that you're going to have to go through that at some point come October. Look, the team's going to be fine. It's just it's tough sledding right now. You don't really know what your pitching's going to look like come October, and you're certainly concerned on the injury front and what's happened there with Spencer Strider. I think Atlanta, you wonder if they got a little bit of a wake-up call at what needs to happen, and they don't really need to do anything immediately. But as we get closer to the trade deadline and certainly get closer to the fall, there's going to have to. I think the pitching staffs are really going to have to be addressed because that's been the bugaboo, Tom. That's been the downfall of this team the last couple of years, and they're already struggling on that front. So what you have right now, you'll be able to defeat the Nationals and the Mets and the Marlins, and that's all good and well. I don't know if it's enough right now to beat the Phillies or Dodgers, and that's got to be the point of contention right now.
Well, Lord knows you don't want to go out and win 100 games. I mean, don't do that. That's not the way to win the World Series. If you want to win the World Series, you want to win about 88, 89 games. I mean, that's the way it's been the last several years in Major League Baseball, and that's a whole other topic. But finally, how about this? Go ahead.
Well, no, it's just interesting. We talk about pitchers and how they try to gun it all the time, and maybe that's what's leading to injuries. When you look at Major League Baseball, you kind of want to pace yourself, right? You don't want to, go crazy for 6 months and then tire out in October. You just kind of want to work your way into the postseason and then sprint when you get to the sprint in October. That's just kind of how it works now.
Yeah. All right. Finally, this kid number 17 for the Dodgers. Let's see. He leads the league in hits with 54. Leads the league with 14 doubles. Leads the league with 11 home runs. Leads the league in hitting with 370 average. Slugging 705 leads the league. His OPS leads the league. Pretty much leads the league in just about everything other than RBI. It looks like Shohei Ohtani focusing on hitting. I don't know if I would let this kid ever pitch again. I would teach him how to catch the ball in the outfield and just tell him, forget about it. Do the Babe Ruth thing. All right, we know you can pitch. You can come in and close a few games here and there. Maybe we use it as a reliever down the road. I don't know that I want him as a starting pitcher anymore. If this guy's going to hit like this, put him in right field when his arm is well enough to throw and be done with it. What's your take on this guy?
Well, that's kind of what I felt when he got hurt last year with the Angels. I just sort of said to myself, does he really need to pitch? Because I'd rather have him in the lineup every day than out on the mound once every 5, possibly tearing up an elbow. I agree with you. I'd rather see him out in the field every single day. I don't see why you can't turn him into a first baseman or a corner outfielder.
Yeah.
I think that's very reasonable, and I think he's competent enough to where he could be I don't think he'll be a Gold Glover, but he'd be a good defensive ball player, and he could certainly get the job done. And Lord knows there are enough arms out there that you can fill him in once every 5 days with someone else. I just think he's much too valuable to risk getting hurt throwing 100 pitches a game when you can put him out there every day at the plate 4 times a game, really doing some damage offensively. I'd rather see him out there 162 times than 30. That's me.
Yeah, Josh Caray has been our guest. Josh, we appreciate you so much. I'll see you at some point tomorrow out there at the ballpark.
All right. See you, pal.
370 with 11 home runs and 14 doubles. Are you freaking kidding me?
Stud.
I mean, enough already with the pitching. All right, we'll grab a break. We'll come back, set you up for hour number 2 next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It has happened. 171.294 miles an hour.
You wake up late for school, man, you don't want to go. You ask your mom, please, but she still says no. You missed 2 classes and no homework. Teacher preaches class like it's some kind of jerk.
helping you live a better life.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford's award-winning service department, where they'll do routine checkups to keep your Ford or other brand in perfect working order. And if you have a bigger problem, the expert service technicians will quickly diagnose it and use the state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. That includes preventative maintenance, like things checking on belts and hoses and fluids and air conditioning fluid and brake and training repair and all that kind of stuff. They also have a mobile service at Woody Anderson Ford, which is great, where they come to you. They'll do an oil change or a tire rotation or parts replacement like windshield wipers or lights. They can do that. And if you're only available on the weekends or in the evening, check out the Quick Lane service. That is open for you. That's your one-stop shop for brake work and tire work and battery work. And so no matter what the service that you need, Woody Anderson Ford can get it done in a quick, professional, and exceptional way. All right, let's get Brandon in here before the break. Brandon, welcome in. How are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to ask you about this thing that I saw tweeted out today about the College Football Players Association.
Yeah.
So they're beginning to advance new legislation aimed at collective bargaining rights for athletes. And they're saying they want to stop short of full employment, but they want to collectively bargain.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out, if you're not an employee, how do you technically collectively bargain?
Well, you can be in a union. You could still be in a union. You don't necessarily have to be an employee to have a scenario like that. That's, UAB became the first school to have all of their players vote to join, one of these unions, one of these representative groups. I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about. But, they want to be able to bargain with the schools and somehow get a piece of the pie in some way, shape, or form, which is going to create another separation, in college football. I mean, clearly, what UAB can do and what Alabama and Auburn and Georgia can do are two completely different things. I don't know what a UAB player is looking for. I mean, 10 years ago they shut the program down. They don't have any money, and so what are they looking for? They can afford to pay the players, but obviously at other places, it's a different deal.
Well, I was just wondering where the schools are still going to pay them directly. Because if they're going to pay them directly, then the court system's going to classify them as employees. Period.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be the big issue. That's the 900-pound, or what do we call that thing? That's the $900,000 question, is what that is are they going to be employees or not? If they're employees, that involves all kinds of other stuff. Unemployment, disability, things like that they'd have to be paid. All right, coming up next, David Moulton will join us from Miller & Moulton. Also from college football coverage on CBS and Monday Night Football. He's next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone is the Tennessee Valley's #1 destination for the finest in sports talk all day long. Tune in to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew Diarra each morning at 7. Then, the Morning Blitz with Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. At noon, it's the Thom Abraham Show. followed by Paul Feinbaum and The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. The Zone is also your home for University of Alabama and UAH sports, plus the Atlanta Braves and the High School Sports Streaming Network. And sister station Talk Radio WZZN has Trash Pandas action with Josh Caray all season long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and Talk Radio WZZN. Listen on the air or download the apps and take them with you everywhere.
Installed.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Byram Energy Solutions is your one-stop shop for all your petroleum needs. They have over 50 years experience in the business and offer bulk sales of all grades of gasoline and diesel fuel. Byram Energy Solutions has diesel exhaust fluid, multiple grades of motor oil, hydraulic fluids, and many different types of grease. They provide on-site fueling, on-site loaner takes, inventory control, and fleet fuel management. You can also stop by their warehouse on Highway 231 in Lacey Springs and get any of the products they offer. Visit Byram Energy on Facebook to learn more.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We could get some afternoon showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, a couple of which could be on the strong or severe end of the spectrum. We'd be talking about heavy rain, gusty winds, and a little bit of hail thrown into the mix as well. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the low and mid 80s, only dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Wednesday, partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to move more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I'm
mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? If somebody responds, get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us today. All right, so we're this segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage, and North Alabama Mortgage bought a hole. They're sponsoring not only a hole, but they're sponsoring a team of you listeners in our WZZN Charity Golf Tournament Monday, Cherokee Ridge. All right, 9 a.m. tee off, 7:30 registration begins. We got breakfast for you. We got lunch for you. We got phenomenal prizes. Our winning team wins a 1-year family membership to Cherokee Ridge. I mean, it's going to be a phenomenal. We got all kinds of great stuff that we're giving you. We keep adding stuff to the super ticket that you'll be able to get out there. Not only will it be mulligans and $100,000 shot and $10,000 hole-in-ones and all kinds of prizes that you'll be eligible for, raffle stuff, a Bud Light golf bag, a beautiful pizza oven from Owen Appliance. I mean, it's too much stuff. To be honest with you, we're doing way too much for you people for what you're paying for this golf tournament. But having said that, we need to fill the North Alabama Mortgage team since none of you hit the trifecta last week between the hockey game, the NBA game, and the Kentucky Derby. None of you hit it, okay? So I'm going to give it away during this segment, but you got to come on the air after David Moulton, okay? Then you got to come on the air and you're going to give us the answer to the question. So I'm going to give one question. I'm not screwing around giving away 4 spots in the golf tournament. I'm giving away the whole foursome, an $800 foursome. So if you want to play in our tournament, pay attention. I'm asking you for one thing, and Moulton might know this answer. He'll know it. He's not going to give you the answer. He's going to know it in his head, though, okay? We got the Bruins alive. We got the Knicks alive. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, okay? So what year? You just got to give me the year. What year did the Bruins, Knicks, Chiefs, and by God, Baltimore Orioles all win the championship? There was a year, Bruins, Knicks, Chiefs, and Orioles all won the championship. If you know that year, you get on the line, get on hold, order of the longest wait, we'll go to you, 256-576-4977. We'll throw you on hold, and when we're done with Moulton, we'll take the answer. We may even keep Moulton, take the answer, and then Moulton can tell you if you're right or wrong. Because I know that he knows this thing, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and on WZZN TV. David, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. And, yeah, I know the answer.
You confident?
Oh, very confident.
How about things in New York? You're from New Jersey. You're from that part of the country. How about right now? I mean, they're partying like 1994. We'll see. You know, that was the year the Rangers won and the Knicks went to the final and lost Game 7 when John Starks couldn't throw it in the ocean against the Houston Rockets. Not that I'm bitter about that. But how about the crew there at MSG every other night right now for like 4 or 5 times? Every other night, court, ice, court, ice, court, ice. What a deal. What a chore that is.
Well, it's close to that in Boston, too. You know, I mean, it's not quite
every other night, though. Yeah, not every other night. Yeah.
Well, no, but only because they're not, synced up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, the Bruins played last night, Celtics played tonight, and what have you, but it's just that the Bruins are on the road right now.
Right.
But, yeah, no question. And there's no doubt that this is shades of 94, except that, that Knicks team was actually the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they were fully healthy. This Knicks team is Jalen Brunson and a bunch of role players. I mean, if he gets them through even to the conference final, that's maxing out with this team. Listen, it's a team that hasn't been to the conference final since 2000. And I think it'll be good for them because no free agents want to go play for them until they start winning again. And so, this is probably, when we look back a few years from now, Tom, this might be the stepping stone year. If the Knicks are ever going to get back to the finals or win, I have a feeling that 2024 will be the year that led to whenever it is that they get there.
I hate to say it, but I don't know if it would happen under Tom Thibodeau. I think Thibodeau is going to top out at, this is a just everything has kind of fallen into place right now for this Knicks team. I mean, Jalen Brunson, it wasn't like everybody and their brother wanted to get, you got to have Jalen Brunson. He's a superstar. He's turned into a superstar. And
Tom, if you look closely at the Knicks, including, really their front 8 rotation, nobody was drafted in the top 20 of the draft. It's all guys drafted 20th or, half their rotation are second rounders. Brunson's a second rounder. So, this is, I don't want to say it's the, land of misfit toys, but it's, Brunson's emerged as a star, and he wasn't thought that would ever be the case. And everybody around him is just a role player. They'll go as far as they can. But now if they had Julius Randle, who through the last 3 years has been on the All-NBA teams, if they had Julius Randle, that Knicks-Celtics conference final would be legit.
Well, I think that, they're favored pretty good in this series against the Pacers. So I think they're going to the conference final. I don't think to say, that would be a miracle if they go there. But look, Josh Hart, the big ragu, Dante DiVincenzo. Come on. These guys, these Villanova guys, this is phenomenal. Hartenstein is a really nice player. And Anunoby, has done some really good things. They're not getting anything off the bench. They just get very, very little off the bench. I understand that. The reason I think the problem is going to be ultimately to get a superstar. Tom Thibodeau is just such a hard ass. And I just don't think these guys in the NBA now, which get to basically decide where they want to play, I just don't think guys want to go play for Tom Thibodeau. It's the Mecca. I get that. But Thibodeau's there, and I think in the end of the day, conference final would be about it. You know what I mean? Now, if they had a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, forget about it. But in any event, we'll see what happens. I think they get through Indiana, though.
Yeah, I think, first off, I think the reputation on Tibb is a little overblown. I don't think he's the same coach that he was with the Bulls 15 years ago. Also, I don't know that Thibodeau's any different than Spoelstra in Miami, okay? And quite frankly, it's working in New York. It is, they practice more and harder than most other teams. And they play harder and play more often than most other teams also. That's their thing. That's Miami's thing.
It's those Villanova guys, you know what I mean? That core is really important.
But, Tom, let's be honest. In this modern world, which is really the LeBron era, the Knicks have not been contenders.
No.
And so everybody's used them to get more money elsewhere. If the Knicks are legit, they haven't won a championship in 50 plus years.
Don't be giving it away now. You're going to give away our answer.
I understand, but trust me, if people haven't figured it out by now.
Yeah.
Right? If you could be the guy to walk in and basically do for the Knicks what Mark Messier did for the Rangers.
Oh. No. That'd be a thing.
Yes, it'd be a thing. Yeah.
All right, let's see if – I'll tell you what. Let's just so he doesn't have to wait for another 15 minutes. Grizz, put my cousin Vinny on, and let's see whether or not he's got the answer. And we'll let David tell him whether he's right or wrong. Vincenzo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, hello, Tom. Mr. Moulton, it's a pleasure to be on the air with you and Mr. Abraham, both at the same time. I'm beside myself here.
And by the way, David, Vinny's name is not Vinny. I can't even remember anymore what his name is, but it's not Vinny. I'll tell you why we call him my cousin Vinny in a minute. But it's not Vinny. All right, so Vincenzo, what do you think now? Give me an answer. What was the year that the Chiefs, the Bruins, the Knicks, and the Baltimore Orioles all won the championship?
1972.
All right. Is he right? 1972, David Moulton?
No.
He's not. You're right. He's not right. All right. Vincenzo, nice shot. Almost. You're going to kick yourself when you find out what the answer is. Thank you, Vinny, for the call. So that's still out there, by the way, for the foursome. So, David, we call him my cousin Vinny. He calls during the season. Grizz, what's his real name? Do you remember his real name? John something, right? What's his real name? Do we know what his name is?
His name is John something,
Yeah,
and
John.
you call him my cousin Vinny?
What's his name, Grizz? Do you remember?
I feel bad because
you can't remember either, and you're young, and you can't remember his name. He's called so many times. So what happens, David, he calls the show back during the football season, right? And we're trying to figure out, actually at the beginning of the football season, and we're trying to figure out who the quarterback's going to be for Alabama. This was before it was 100% that Jalen Milroe was going to be the quarterback. So he says, the exec calls the show, and he says, listen, he says, my nephew has a friend that is a roommate of a guy that plays on the team, and he says that it's going to be Dylan Lonergan. It's going to be the quarterback. And he went through this person that is, like 3 or 4 people removed from him that is related to somebody that's related to somebody that has a roommate.
So there you go.
That knows the play, that is a scrub on the team that's a walk-on that says the quarterback's going to be. So I'm like, so basically it's your cousin Vinny that's telling us that and then he became my cousin Vinny. So that was the deal. And he was wrong about that, and he's also wrong about this. So you're close, Vinny, but I hate to tell you were wrong on that. So that question is still out there for that foursome. All right. I thought that I thought the Bruins were just screwed with the scheduling thing. I mean, they'll play 2 games. They played Saturday night, Game 7 overtime. Then they got to turn around and play 48 hours later in Miami. In the meantime, Vancouver and Edmonton, which finished a week ago, their first round, they don't play until after Bruins and Panthers have played Game 2. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I thought for sure last night that was a giveaway, that Florida would just beat them and then the Bruins would take a shot in Game 2. Was stunning result last night there in Miami.
There are times in which teams show up in that situation and they're completely out of gas. And there are other times, Tom, in which they show up and it's just like the regular season when they're used to playing every other night. And remember, the overtime only took 1:50. I mean, it's not like they played 3 overtimes.
Grueling series. I mean,
there's no doubt it was. But, the Bruins just got on a plane and, 2.5 hours later, they're in Miami and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
So... And besides, Tom, the most important player was on his game. I mean, right now, they've got the best goalie in the playoffs. Yeah. And usually the team that has the best goalie in the playoffs goes really far.
Yeah, he's carrying them right now. There's no doubt. Jeremy Swayman is doing that. And, I always tell guys about how much I love Hockey Guy. And it's not that I don't get into the whole, paternity leave thing. I had 9 kids. I never went on paternity leave. I went to the hospital. We had the baby. I told my wife, all right, I got to go make some money, and left and came back for dinner. It was just the way it was back in the day. But having said that, so you had Verdugo. Alex Verdugo missed 3 of the games against the Orioles in Baltimore in a key series, paternity leave. Rudy Gobert had a baby like 3 days ago, something like that. He misses a game last night, even though they won in Denver, paternity leave. And then there's Brandon Carlo, right? That dude had a baby at 3 o'clock in the morning. His wife gave birth. He got on a plane at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, flew to Miami, got to the arena an hour and a half before the game, and scored a goal in a game. That's Hockey Guy. That's why I love Hockey Guy.
There's no doubt. That's Hockey Guy. Absolutely. I mean, Gobert was on load management, and goodness knows what the case was with Verdugo. But Hockey Guy, right, the birth, the flight, shows up and scores. Right. And then, probably – because he violated team rules and didn't show up at the rink in a shirt and tie, probably had to buy last night too after the game. You know how the kangaroo court works.
Yeah, that's a good point. David Moulton with us here, bouncing around a little bit. I know that when you and I were together in Southwest Florida, we used to do remotes for the Kentucky Derby and that kind of stuff. It was always a big thing, and I grew up on a horse farm, so I still I pay attention to it. But I felt like it's not the same as what it used to be. However, they had more people that watch that race than ever Sunday with 20 million people. But here we are. We don't even know if Mystic Dan is going to run the Preakness. Probably not going to run the Preakness. The horses that finished second and third, Sarah Leone and Forever Young, are already said that they're not going to run into Preakness. I mean, the excitement that this could build, we could have those 3 horses, that photo finish with 3 horses, run it back into Preakness. And I don't know what they got to do. They got to open it up to 3 weeks. I mean, the whole thing of the Triple Crown was 3 races in 5 weeks. And is the Triple Crown meaningless now? I mean, to these people, they don't even care?
it's not that it's meaningless, but the fact of the matter is that back in the day, the horse would make more money based off its resume, and now it's all about breeding. And so once you win the Derby, that's enough. I mean, no reason to push the horse unless we have to, because we're going to make millions with the horse in stud. There is talk that since also they train horses differently now, they run them differently now. It's a lot like pitchers, Tom. You're talking about a day in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when, we also had a 4-man rotation and they threw more in between starts. So, we baby arms now in comparison to the past, etc. So there is talk that if you want all the horses to run in the Triple Crown, that you may have to run the Derby the first Saturday in May, run the Preakness the first Saturday in June, and then run the Belmont around July 4th weekend in New York. That if you do it that way, kind of like the way golf right now has one major per month,
right?
April, May, June, July, they, major in each month, that maybe that's what horse racing, if they want all the horses to run in all the Triple Crown races, they may need to extend the schedule.
Does that take away, though, from the whole point
of
three races, 5 weeks, right? That was the thing. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I would rather see horses run and have a 3-week window, at least have a 3-week window, not a 2-week window before the Preakness. I just hate it for racing that I know that I'd love to see that again. I want to run that back. I want to see those 3 horses run again and see what happens,
It was very encouraging, though. I mean, Tom, what I think you're seeing going on in all of televised sports, outside of the NBA's ratings are a little soft. But everybody else's ratings are up noticeably.
Yeah.
And I think it's the influence of gambling. I really do. I don't know, we're enough years past the pandemic now where it's like, what can you attribute the steady 15% increase in television ratings, never mind the explosion in women's sports ratings, but what can you attribute the steady increase in television ratings to? If not, in 40-plus states now, there's legalized sports wagering.
I would say yes on the league, although I couldn't get on. I guess I got to have a different app. I couldn't get on my app in Tennessee. You'd have to go to Twin Spires to get on.
Oh, no, and we had a lot of trouble in Florida. We had a lot of trouble in Florida just getting on the Twin Spires, to be honest with you. They made 90-something million on it, and I know more people who couldn't get on it than got on it.
Yeah, $225 million the total handle just on that race, $350 million all day long on those races. I'll agree with that. I also wonder if, with all of the streaming and the different platforms and so on, I wonder if they're calculating it differently, because you're right.
They are.
Everything is up. I mean, you got 14 million people watching a women's game. You got, basketball is up. The NHL is way up. Everything is up significantly, and I'm thinking they must be counting this differently than they used to in the past.
They are. They're counting what's called out-of-home viewership now, which they didn't count before. Yeah. And that's a combination because people are watching on their phones, on their tablets. That also takes into account a little bit sports bars, which never got figured in before. Right. So it is true. They are trying to more accurately, they would say, find where the viewership is coming from.
If you want to get in on this trivia question to win the $800 foursome in the WZZN Charity Classic, 256-576-4977. I see a couple of you have called the text line, all right? Don't call the text line. You text the text line. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. And LSU Lynch asked a question to try and narrow it down. He said, was Jesus born yet? Yes, Lynch. Jesus had been born. In fact, he had been resurrected already by then. So, yes, LSU Lynch, go ahead and throw us a call, and we'll see maybe you win it. And you can't win it through the text window. You got to get on the air to win it, okay? We want to know the year where the Chiefs, Bruins, Knicks, and Orioles all won the championship, and you have a shot at winning that deal. If I were to say to you, best studio show ever, maybe best studio show ever, game day inside the NBA. I know they're different in as much as one's an actual pregame thing, but kind of so is game day. What do you think is the best studio ever, game day or inside the NBA?
I would say inside the NBA, but they're the two best. Yeah. And, obviously they're very different, and one is killing time now in 3 hours. I mean, when it originally started, it was tighter and I would argue better. But, you know, I don't know. The opinions on Inside the NBA, I prefer them as opposed to game day. There's a lot of politics, on-air politics, if you're kind of involved with the sport in what's going on game day. Plus, it's a lot more produced than Inside the NBA.
I love Inside the NBA. I think it's absolutely tremendous. And I used an example in the first hour of how I love it. I end up watching most of my hockey and NBA playoff games on the DVR. I kind of watch them a little bit after my wife nods off to sleep, and in the Central Time Zone, I can get everything in by 11 o'clock after she goes to sleep. I zip through the intermission reports. I zip through to halftime if it's ESPN, NBA game, and so on. I'll zip through commercials and other stuff, and I'll stop on Inside the NBA halftime report and watch the halftime report, even though I could DVR through it. So that tells me, you know, where it is in my mind. We're on the brink, apparently, of TNT losing the NBA, and our friend Demetrius Ravenos from Barrett Sports Media had a genius idea, and I want to get your take on it because you're an industry guy. What if the NBA bought the rights to Inside the NBA, and why can't Inside the NBA be the pregame show for all NBA games? I mean, if the game is on ESPN or if the game is on NBC or if the game is on Amazon, why not have Inside the NBA be the pregame out of a set studio, and now we go to ESPN or we go to Amazon or we go to NBC for the game? Don't you think ESPN – if I asked you right now, who are the 4 guys that are on the ESPN NBA pregame show, could you name them? Really?
I don't know about all 4.
You
but
name one.
Here's what we've been talking about for over a month, because this has been on the precipice now for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That I thought what the NBA was going to do is that apparently NBC wants to buy out Turner. And if I was the NBA, I would be saying to NBC, you can have the NBA, but you have to take the Inside the NBA show. You have to. That's your pregame show. We will not give you the rights, because if I'm Adam Silver, I can't lose Chuck and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie. I can't.
See, Ernie says he won't leave TNT, though. So it'd have to be a deal where you take the pregame show, but Ernie still gets to be TNT for baseball and other stuff.
Right. I mean, yes, that's what I would do. I would say to TNT and negotiate it with it and Ernie and just say, listen, can you let Ernie moonlight? And besides, this will help you. We can identify him as, you know, Ernie from TNT.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still getting some love. But if I'm Adam Silver, I can't lose that show. That show's too valuable to my league. I am literally forcing the people I'm going to make the deal with. You can take the deal. Like, you know, Tom, there are very rare instances, but when 11 years ago when FGCU went to the Sweet 16 and their head coach left, they hired a Kansas assistant to be their head coach. They literally, the AD forced him, we'll give you the job, but you have to keep these 2 assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And he obviously didn't want to. He wanted to hire his own guys. But that was the deal. The AD said, I'll give you the job, but you got to take these 2 assistants. That's what I would do if I was the NBA. I would say to Amazon or preferably NBC, I'll give you the package. I'll box Turner out, but you have to take that show.
Yeah. I love Demetrius' idea. I mean, I love just making it the pregame show for everything. I mean, why not? It's the pregame show for him, you know.
But believe it or not, though, Tom, those guys don't want to work that many nights.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, so they'll only want to do one of the packages.
And Chuck has intimated that Ernie, even if TNT gets it, I don't know how long Ernie's hanging around. Ernie Johnson's 67 years old, and he's had a battle with cancer. He may not want to go much longer. If they get a 5-year contract, I don't think 70-year-old Ernie Johnson's going to be doing Inside the NBA. And some people, I think, underestimate how much the glue he is to that show, as good as those guys are.
Well, there's no doubt it would be different, but you know, if you remember, Game Day had Chris Fowler forever, and you know, it's doing just fine with Rhys Davis. I mean, you may disagree. I actually think Ernie's the easiest guy to replace in the show. The other guys carry the show.
Chris Fowler and Reese Davis. If they didn't put their name on the bottom of the thing, you wouldn't know one from the other. I mean, it seemed like they went from one guy to another guy that was just like the other guy. All right. While we got David, let's go to back to the lines. Let's get two more in. Grizz, you got your facts ready? You got ready to go if they're right? Do you know the answer, Grizz? Over there. Did I tell you?
You did tell me the answer earlier.
Okay.
I will not say it.
Okay. All right. It's a little bit of a trick question, maybe, but
and
it's
I do know Vinny's name, Todd.
Todd!
I just forgot. I said T, and I kept saying Tony for some reason. He was in our fantasy league. I kept
He played fantasy football with him. My cousin Vinny played
I kept
fantasy.
saying it in my head.
Todd. All right. Well, if my name was Todd, I'd want to be called Vinny too. So that's just me. All right. Who's trying this? Richard or William? Richard? All right. Let's go to the lines. All right, Richard. Welcome to the show. First of all, Richard, you play golf, right? I mean, I'm not giving you food at Corralejos here. I mean, this is for the golf team.
Yeah, man. I just left the golf course. I listened, and I thought 72 was the right one, but I knew it wasn't. I graduated from high school in 73.
Okay.
So I'm saying 73, man.
73. David Moulton is 73 correct?
It is not.
It is not.
No, but I do play golf. Whoever wins, call me.
Richard wants to play with the winner. I think your Mets won in 73 in the baseball side of things.
No, they got to the World Series. And see,
the A's won.
The first guess was 72. One of the four teams won the title in 72.
Yeah.
At least one other made the championship. 73, I'm trying to think. I don't think any of the four teams won it, but a couple of them were in the finals in 73.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the lines. William is going to give it a shot. William's gone. Dan is up. Now, is that Natty Danny? Just Dan. All right. All right, Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are y'all?
I'm fantastic. Now, you'll use this foursome, right? You're not winning like a hamburger here at Wendy's. This is for the foursome at the golf tournament.
Yes, sir.
All right. What is the year that the Bruins, Knicks, Chiefs, and Orioles all won championships?
1970.
He says 1970, David Moulton.
It is a slightly trick question, but that is correct.
That's all you got? Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were just going with the bell. I was like, you got to bring me more than the bell. Oh, you got me hollering in there now. Yeah, we got to have that in there. So
the Braves are better.
All right, David, tell him why it's a little trick question, because I think that was the 70 season in the NFL. It was actually the Super Bowls in 1971, I think, that year.
No, it's the other way around. The Chiefs, the season was the 1969 season, but the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in January of 1970.
Right.
And then the Bruins won the Stanley Cup in 70. That's the one where Bobby Orr is flying through the air.
Yeah.
The Knicks won their first title in 70 of their little group, and
with
then
the Lakers,
Orioles.
Right? I think they beat the Lakers that year.
They did, and that was the Walt Frazier, Willis Reed title year.
Hopping out of that's when Walt Frazier became Clyde Frazier. You got to win. Then he became Clyde after that. Yeah, and then Orioles,
the Orioles, who had lost to the Mets in the 69 series, came back and beat the Big Red Machine, who wasn't the Big Red Machine yet, in 5 games in 1970. That was Brooks Robinson's World Series that he stole.
Yeah, Brooks Robinson was amazing in that World Series. So there you go. That's good. And the unique thing about Bobby Orr and, the famous pitcher, and in fact, I got a hat with him flying on the side that I wore yesterday, a Bruins hat. The big thing about that deal, they beat the St. Louis Blues. It was the first year of the expansion, where they had the expansion team 69-70, and they swept them. They beat them in 4. And I did not know this. I know a lot of my history, but I did not know this, that those first few years, the expansion teams did not play the original 6 teams. The expansion 6 did not play the original 6 that entire season. They didn't play each other. It was almost like the old AFL and the NFL. The expansion teams played just expansion teams, and the original 6 played original 6, and the number 1 expansion team was the Blues, and they played the Bruins, and the Bruins won.
In fact, I think Scotty Bowman was their head coach, and he took them to 3 straight finals, and I don't think they won a single game. I think they got swept all 3 years in the finals. But, yes, they were the Blues, best of the expansion teams.
Yep, and that was when I found Phil Esposito and became a Bruins fan, because my cousin and I, at 9 years old, we were looking for Italian hockey players, and we couldn't find any Italian hockey players, and we discovered Phil and Tony Esposito. So my cousin, who was always the goalie because he's a year younger than me, and I was always the forward, my cousin took the Chicago Blackhawks as his favorite team, and I took the Boston Bruins, and that's how we became Bruins and Blackhawks fans, because of the Esposito.
Well, and I became an Esposito fan, even though I'm a Rangers fan, although he would play for them, because when I was young, he had that one big year when he scored like 76 goals. And I remember on the news, the Bruins were such a big deal. And there was a sign in the local sports that they showed on the news in which it says, there was a church in Boston that had a sign that says, Jesus saves, but Espo scores on the rebound.
It's tremendous.
And I was like 7 years old, and I remember that sign in a news report, and I thought, man, that's funny. I tried to like talk about that at the dinner table, and big Catholic household, and they're like, yeah, that's not funny. Don't say that.
So he was my first sports hero, and then to come full circle. I mean, I was 9 years old at the time when I became a Bruins fan and Phil Esposito fan for the rest of the time. Then fast forward to 2001, 2002. In Southwest Florida.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I played in the Dodge Celebrity Classic twice, played golf in it, and both times played with Phil Esposito. And I could not believe it that here was this guy. At the time, I was 42, 43 years old. I was giddy like a little kid, and I was playing golf with Phil Esposito, who 30 years previous had made me a Boston Bruins fan. And it was the most surreal thing. I never fanboy. We've been around athletes all our careers. I never really fanboy. Except for Phil Esposito. Playing golf with Phil Esposito was pretty cool for me. I'll say that. So there you go. All right, David. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you, and we'll look forward to chatting again. You can
with Progressive, you get more than...
What happened there? You can check out Miller and Moulton. You can get them in the morning, 5 to 7 every morning on your drive-in over on Talk Radio WZZN. Thanks, David.
Be good, guys.
All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, take your phone calls next. Do we have a winner? We did have a winner. We got a winner. You got all his information, or is he still on there? Okay, we'll come back. We'll talk to our winner. We got a winner. We'll take your phone calls next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash, and the freezer's free, and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Handshake Barbershop, a vintage barbershop feel where you can catch up with an old friend and maybe make a new one. We still do classic men's haircuts, beard trims, and hot towel straight razor shaves. Plus, we offer more modern, trendy haircut services. Enjoy arcade games and rock and roll spinning on vinyl while you're here too. Book your appointment online at handshakebarbershop.com. Everything you love about your favorite barbershop, but with our own special DNA. In Arab, Gunnersville, and now at Cherokee Ridge Country Club. Online at handshakebarbershop.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We could get some afternoon showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley, a couple of which could be on the strong or severe end of the spectrum. We'd be talking about heavy rain, gusty winds, and a little bit of hail thrown into the mix as well. Otherwise, temperatures climb into the low and mid 80s, only dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. Much the same for your Wednesday, partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the Tom Abraham Show and the Allman Brothers are brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services the Huntsville Havoc, the Alabama A&M, and the most of the high schools in the region with 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. If you have an orthopedic problem and are considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing a sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, and the best facility to get you back in the game. I think you'll agree that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. All right. So Dan, who won our foursome, screwed us over. All right? Unreal. So Dan doesn't play golf. Is that what he said? He said his name was Dan. We asked if he was Natty Dan.
Yeah, he's like, I don't play, especially not in tournaments.
Danny. He said, I don't play golf, but I'm a friend of, I did the cabinet work for
Natty Danny.
For Natty Danny. And so he can have, Natty Danny's already got a team. His team's already paid for. He's playing for Yellowhammer Roofing. So Dan screwed everybody else over. Because he says, I don't play, but I would give it a. So now I got to come up with another question, and I'm still giving away the North Alabama Mortgage team, which I may be able to do before the end of the show. Otherwise, we'll have to do it tomorrow if I can't get it in before the end of the show. But how many times did I say, if you play golf, I'm not giving you food. This isn't for a hamburger at Wendy's. This isn't for Coralejos. This is strictly if you have a foursome. I think when he came on, Grizz, I even asked him, now you're going to play golf.
Yeah.
Do you play?
Yeah. I think he just had a little. I think he had a little queasy. I think he had second thoughts. I think he was just trying to,
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
He wanted to win.
You either play golf or you don't.
He knew the answer. He wanted to win.
Wanted to win. Let me talk to Grumpy. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Pretty good. Yeah, I got the Dodgers right, the Bruins right, and my horse came in fourth.
You got the Dodgers, the Bruins, and your horse was fourth. Yeah, there was a number of people that had the right horse but couldn't get the Dodgers and the Bruins right.
Yeah. And then I was on hold with 1970, and Dan screwed me.
He screwed you over. He basically screwed you over. And he's like, well, just give it to anybody. I'm like, no, we don't just give it to anybody. You got to have the right. Gosh.
Hey, now as far as this trifecta, the Triple Crown, I think they're running the wrong race first. I don't know what the viewership is, but I would run the Kentucky Derby last if I wanted horses to stick around.
Well, why? Why do you think?
Well, I think the Kentucky Derby is more popular. It's got more cred to it. If you win,
so you don't think they would skip it? You don't skip the Kentucky. I know the reason why the Kentucky Derby that creates all the excitement, and now you're going for the Triple Crown if you win the Derby, and the Preakness and the Belmont are next. But you're saying if you went Preakness, Belmont, Kentucky Derby, people wouldn't skip the Kentucky Derby, but they might still skip the first two.
No.
They would skip the first two.
I'm saying if you win the Kentucky Derby, you've already won the Roses. I mean, why run the other two?
Well, yeah, but why run the other two if you can wait and run the Kentucky Derby and go for the Roses? I mean, the point is the Triple Crown, right?
Yeah, this is what I think the problem is it costs about $800,000 to get your horse into the Kentucky Derby. That's with travel, that's with vet, that's with everything. If you want him to stick around for the rest of the Triple Crown, you have to guarantee money not to win, but you have to guarantee the Kentucky Derby winner somewhere around $5 million just to run the race. And then you make that up with selling commercials.
Yeah.
You can't expect the winner of the Kentucky Derby to come out of pocket $750,000 to run the Preakness.
But if you won the Kentucky Derby and you won $5.1 million, yes, you can. You know what I mean? They can pony up.
No, because listen, if you justify the Triple Crown winner, you don't breed these horses yourself. There's companies now that come in and they buy the rights to breed the horse, and you get all your money at once. Justify $75 million in one check, and they don't breed the horse. This Mystic Dan's going to get $35-40 million from a breeding company all in one check. Why would you risk that?
I don't know if they're going to get that much for breeding.
Yeah, they will.
Just for winning.
$1's not worth. Huh?
The Triple Crown's got to mean something. I think the answer is just widen it up. I think if you poll the trainers and the owners and you say, look, okay, if it wasn't 2 weeks, if it was 3 weeks, if it was 3, would you run it? I think they'd say they'd run it. I really think they're not running it because the horse is he's going to come back and run the Belmont. He's going to run the Belmont.
What's it matter? What's it matter waiting a couple of weeks? This is about breeding the horse and making the money or selling the rights
How
to the breed.
How much more is the money worth how much more is the horse worth as a Triple Crown winner?
Oh, well, if the horse dies on the track and breaks a leg, it's nothing. You got to at least listen to get them to stick around for the Triple Crown. They're going to have to at least take out the insurance policies for the owners that have won the previous races.
Yeah.
I mean, at least get the insurance. I would rather sell my rights to my horse for $35 million than to run my horse in 2 more races trying to make $70 million. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, brother. Thanks.
I think that horse is worth even more than if you win a Triple Crown, if it's a Triple Crown winner. I don't know if it's that kind of money that they're risking. And if a horse gets injured, it can still be bred. They don't have to be put down these days. Not all the time. They're not always put down these days. A horse can still be bred. Just because a horse hurt itself doesn't mean it, its stuff isn't good. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. LSU Lynch. LSU Lynch is going to have something to say about. I might have a question by then, too. We'll see. LSU Lynch will be next, though, on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Taco Bell just added the cheesy double beef burrito to their new Cravings value menu, where all 10 choices are $3 or less, which means you can get the beefy, cheesy burrito you want for the price you want. It's almost like you can have your cake and eat it too. But in this case, it's a burrito. So basically, you can have your cheesy double beef burrito and eat it too, which is nothing like cake, but you get the idea. The cheesy double beef burrito is here. Get your worth at Taco Bell today. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact stores for price and participation which vary. Double the seasoned beef as compared to the Burrito Supreme. Tax extra.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
It has happened. 171.294 miles an hour.
You wake up late for school, man, you don't want to go. You ask your mom, please, but she still says no. You missed 2 classes and no homework. But your teacher preaches class like it's some kind of jerk. You gotta fight for your right to party.
Eagle saves you money.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
And we'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Owen Home Appliance Center. The biggest names in the home appliances, well, some maybe you haven't heard of, but they offer tremendous value. Check out their Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231. You're going to find a totally interactive showroom. And also, we want to thank Owen Home Appliance. Not only have they sponsored a team in our golf tournament, they also have have given us a $400 pizza oven that will be given away at the golf tournament when you buy your super ticket. If you're playing in the golf tournament, you can get that. All right, I got a question. I'm going to throw it out there. We'll see if we can't get this taken care of today. Okay? Who knows? We'll see if we can't get this done. I need to know the year. Here's what happened. Alabama won the national championship in football. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Steelers won the World Series and the Super Bowl. And Michigan State won one of the most significant national championships in basketball in the history of basketball. What year was it? Bama, Pirates, Steelers, Sparty. What year was it? You tell me the year. Don't tell me anything unless you're playing in a golf tournament. If you know the answer, you want to play in a golf tournament, you got a foursome you can put together, you can go ahead and give me a holler. LSU Lynch might know it. He's on the line next. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Why are we not asking the question when the last year the Dallas Suck Girl won a national championship? You hear me?
It was 94, something like that.
We know that.
Yeah.
We know that. We know that. Look at number 2. I'm down with Grumpy. The Kentucky Derby need to be the last one because look, I mean, it's such a event with the celebrities. I mean, it's such an event. Why just make that not the last one? I mean, and I get the breeding. I'm down with that and everything. But my third thing for you, all you people that going to play at the Cherokee Ridge, understand this. I have played there a lot. I have won there a lot. It's going to be wet. Okay? So just get ready for it. So make sure that you got your rubbers. And
why is it going to be wet? It's going to be sunny and 78 is what we saw.
Look here. It could be 90 degrees right now with some Tucson, Arizona heat out there. It's still not going to dry up. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to help your listeners out, trying to help, the Yellowhammer sponsor with the mullet man and everything. Just be prepared. It's going to be wet down there. That golf course does not drain well.
All right. Well, we'll find out. It wasn't last week. It was last year. It was really dry last year out there. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. All right, let's see if Charles has got this answer, and we can get it, and we can give this thing away so I don't have to extend this into tomorrow. Charles, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good.
Now, let me ask you a question, Charles, before you blurt out the answer. Do you play golf? Will you put a foursome in the tournament?
I do play golf, and I will work on it immediately. I believe I can get a foursome. Yeah.
All right. What year did Alabama, the Pirates, the Steelers, and Sparty all win championships?
1979.
1979 is correct. That's Magic and Bird in 1979, which saved the NBA. And, of course, the Steelers won the first of two more with John Stallworth, and the Pirates get to win We Are Family, and Alabama winning the last national championship for Bear Bryant. All right, stay on the line. Wait a minute. How are you going to get his info? Did you get his info yet, Chris?
No, tell him just give me a call back.
All right,
once
call
the show's
right
over.
back as soon as the show is over, Charles. Call right back. We need your last name. We need your email address, and we need you use the text window to send me the names of your team. We'll give you the rest of the week, get your team together, and then give us the information. But it's 7:30 check-in at Cherokee Ridge on Monday, the 13th of May, and you're going to love it.
All right, sounds good.
All right, appreciate you. Now, when Charles calls back, is he going to tell you, I play pickleball, I don't play golf?
I hope not.
I just wanted
don't
to
need that
answer the
again.
question. Can I get something else? I just wanted to answer the question.
Hey.
Can I get a Bad Daddy's Burger Bar? I just wanted to show you how smart I am. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll let you guys know. We'll find out in 5 minutes, and then we'll let you guys know tomorrow. All right, that's it. Coming up next, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show, and then Steve Moulton and The Drive. No West tonight, as far as I know. Right here, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.